Winzenburg on the weekend, News Radio 1040, WHO. Janice Beck Stock is with us about the Iowa Trivia book. She has co-authored a book called A Treasury of Iowa Tales. It's at the WHO Radio Crystal Studio, and we'll talk a little bit about her state fair memories, but we want to give folks here at the Crystal Studio a chance to win copies of this book, A Treasury of Iowa Tales. We have 6 to give away. Ma'am, why don't you tell us your name and where you're from?
Rosalind here in Des Moines.
Great, and we're going to ask you a multiple choice trivia question about Iowa. If you get it right, you get a copy of the book. Rosalind, which famous Iowan's real name, her real first name, is Marie? Is it Mamie Eisenhower, Carrie Chapman Catt, or Meredith Wilson? First name of Marie, is it Mamie Eisenhower, Carrie Chapman Catt, or Meredith Wilson?
Mamie Eisenhower.
Your husband got it right. It's Mamie Eisenhower. I assume that was your husband?
Yes.
Okay, well, guess what? He just won the book. So thanks for being with us at the Crystal Studio at the Iowa State Fair. You're the Iowa expert. What's your name?
Chris.
Your husband pushed you in here, right?
I know that.
Chris, where are you from?
Urbandale.
Great. What was the first college George Washington Carver attended? Was it Grinnell, Iowa State, or Simpson?
Iowa State.
Janice?
Simpson.
It was Simpson was the first one.
You pushed me. I don't know.
Blame your husband? Well, let's ask him a question. Yeah, I think. What's your name?
Jim Ensign.
All right, Jim. What was unusual about the Iowa City basketball game that was played in 1896? Was it the first played with an orange ball, the first played with a 5-man team, or the first game west of the Mississippi?
Let's try the middle one.
The first played with a 5-man team. Very good. You won a book on that wonderful answer. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And let's give one more person a chance. Who else would like to try it? Come on, Mom. Come on. He's pushing Mom up, but he's going to win. What's your name?
Kevin.
Kevin, you want your mom to help, I bet.
Yeah.
Okay, where are you from?
Des Moines.
What Iowa town is named after the first white man to live in Iowa? Is it Dubuque, Clinton, or Davenport? Don't look around for help now.
I don't know.
Dubuque, Clinton, or Davenport? The Iowa town named after the first white man to live in Iowa.
Oh, Dubuque.
Very good. You did that all by yourself?
Yeah.
You did a great job, and you get a copy of the book. These are autographed copies. You go home and study that, okay?
Okay.
Thanks so much for being with us at the WHO Radio Crystal Studio. We'll give some more books away here in just a little bit. Janice Beck Stock is with us, one of the authors of A Treasury of Iowa Tales. Janice, what's your favorite story in the book?
The favorite one's hard. I like the George Washington Carver story, even though he wasn't born in the state. It was because of the state of Iowa that he was able to realize all the wonderful things that he was able to accomplish. I guess closest to my heart maybe is the Wallace story, because the Wallaces are the reason my dad came to the state of Iowa.
Really?
And so that's how I came to be.
Did your dad work for Pioneer then?
Yes, the Highline Division of Pioneer. He's a poultry geneticist, he was, and that's why he came here. He came here, and my mom was working for Pioneer, and they got married. And
it was very interesting, this whole story of Wallace, where he was vice president, and then FDR essentially kicked him out as vice president. And then I remember he ran on a separate party.
Progressive Party.
That's right.
That's
I was
right.
reading a book on television trivia where it said that the year he ran on the Progressive Party, Howdy Doody actually got more votes.
Oh yeah.
than Wallace did.
Yes. His conservative ideas became not very popular, especially after he got involved with the Progressive Party, because the Progressive Party also tended to attract communists. And he never was able to disassociate himself from that, unfortunately. But now the story in the book talks a lot about the corn, breeding. He also was a big person for the development of poultry. And, of course, that's, again, why my dad came here. And it doesn't really mention too much about that in the book, but he also was into animal breeding as far as the poultry. So,
want to try Iowa trivia, anybody? Everybody's scared. They don't think they're going to know anything about it. Sir, I think you want to try it. What's your name?
Ed Payne.
And where are you from?
From West Des Moines.
Okay, Ed, let's ask, what famous Iowan was born at 14 pounds, 7 ounces. He was the biggest baby born in Iowa up to that time. Was it Johnny Carson, Meredith Wilson, or John Wayne?
John Wayne.
That was the obvious one, but that wasn't the right one. Anybody else want to try this?
Johnny Carson.
It wasn't Johnny Carson either. It was Meredith Wilson, the Music Man guy. He was the biggest baby born in Iowa up to that time. What's your name? Where are you from?
Susan Kincaid from Des Moines, Iowa.
Okay, Susan, here's your question. What Iowa college was the first four-year liberal arts college west of the Mississippi? What was the first four-year liberal arts college west of the Mississippi? Luther, Grinnell, or Simpson?
Simpson.
It was Grinnell. So, you know what I'm going to do, just because you two are so nice, I'm going to give you that, and I'm going to give the other gentleman that, because you need to hone up on your Iowa trivia, right? Okay. Thank you very much for coming by the Crystal Studio at News Radio 1040 WHO. And Janice, you did study up on Meredith Wilson, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And he had unusual parents. They decided before the children were born what their kids were going to do.
That's right. And so they decided their first child that should be a writer. And so for the 9 months prior to her birth, they read a lot of literature, and she did become a writer. She did a lot of other things, but Dixie Wilson did become a writer. Their second child, they wanted to be a business executive, and certainly he did. He became vice president of Texas Industries. And their third child was going to be a musician, so they played lots of music while he was in the womb, and Meredith definitely was a musician.
So while she was pregnant with the baby, they made sure that they played lots of music, and then he went on, of course, to write many Broadway shows, famous songs.
That's right. And the instrument that he became most famous for, the flute and the piccolo, actually he didn't even want to start playing that instrument when it came in the mail because he didn't like the looks of it. And he became a great flautist. He was so good that he was one of the few that didn't have to audition for the Sousa band.
What's really interesting about Meredith Wilson is now I get the Game Show Network.
Yes.
And do you know he used to do lots of game shows back in the 50s?
I knew of some of them, yeah.
I mean, he was a regular on some game shows, and now you see him when they show the old reruns of some of these 50s game shows. He's a regular on there, and he was a fascinating individual to think of, not just doing music, but he had many interests beyond just that.
That's right, and he's one of the Iowans, born in Iowa, and yet spent most of his life outside the state, but never forgot the state.
Others in the book, Wyatt Earp, Buffalo Bill. We have our not-so-good people who came from Iowa. But also in the same chapter as Wyatt Earp and Buffalo Bill, we have Grant Wood. Unusual grouping there. Why?
Well, I'm not sure why. I guess Mr. Garrison kind of grouped these, and I think for that one, probably maybe under the Maverick term, he painted a little bit differently than anybody had up until that point. And that regionalist painting, I guess that's why he included him there.
So you doing this book, Treasury of Iowa Tales, is really a story of you just getting a phone call and helping, right?
Yep, that's how it came about, just the way the first one did. The publisher called me and said, would you help us out with research about Iowa?
It's just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and oh boy, like I said, it was a thrill to be able to fill in some of the information behind the facts from the trivia book.
That's great. Well, we look forward to hearing from you and your brother about the trivia book coming up.
What is Iowa's average annual snowfall? Think about that today on this nice hot day. You find out that answer and more in the book Iowa Trivia, and it's been compiled by two Iowa natives and their cousin who lives in Nashville, Janice Stock and Alan Beck, and they're here in the studio with me this morning, and welcome to both of you, Alan and Janice.
We're both Johnston natives, graduated from high school there. I in 74 and Janice in 72.
The great news is the book is sold out already. Yeah. Isn't that good news?
Right, 6 weeks.
So they've gone into a second printing. I called to get a copy of it, and the woman said she had to scramble to find one for me because they were already sold out. And that's amazing that in 6 weeks you would sell out your first printing of this Iowa trivia book. Why do you think it's so popular?
Well, we hope that one of the reasons it's popular is because Iowa has more per capita readers than any other state in the union.
Sure.
And we think that maybe ties into the fact that the book is sold out, and probably the fact that it's Iowa's sesquicentennial this year has probably played into a part of that. And also maybe the fact there hasn't really been another book like that out there for people to purchase.
Okay, tell us how it all came about, Janice.
Well, last summer in July, I was at my folks who live on Lake Panorama, and my cousin Ken called from Nashville, and he said, Janice, he said, I just had a meeting with my publisher, and they're interested in doing an Iowa trivia book, but they would like it to be done by people who at least live there, or even better, were born there. And he said, I told him, well, I have cousins who live there, and I'm pretty sure they were born there. Well, ask them if they're interested in doing a book. And so he called and asked me, and I said, sure, I'd love to. I don't know what to do, but I'd love to do it. And it was really kind of ironic because just a couple of months before that, I had been searching for just that kind of a book because I have a cousin whose girl I like to send. She has a daughter who I like to send birthday gifts to, and I could not find anything that a fifth grader would enjoy that was about the state.
I see.
And then here he called and asked me if I'd be interested, and he said, do you think your brother would be too? And I said, well, I'll sure ask him. And
had you had any dreams of writing a book?
No, this is a dream come true that I never had.
You never had it. And you live up in Titonka.
That's right.
And so this is probably a shock for the folks up there to think here, you're little Janice Stock sitting up
Very
in Titonka
definitely.
has this big bestseller now.
Yes, in fact, after it was on the front page of the Mason City paper, one of the gals who grew up there said to her mother, who is Janice Stock? and her mother said, well, Jan. Oh, our Jan?
Wow.
And so it has been real exciting.
That's quite a story. And Alan, then you got involved in this whole thing, and you had what chapters in the book?
Well, the main chapter that I was responsible for was the sports section. There's 6 sections in the book that ties into the trivia game, the Trivial Pursuit game. So it's the same 6 categories. And I was mostly responsible for sports, and then also kind of helping verify some of the questions that we came up with from the other sections.
And what's your background? Did you want to be an author?
No, I guess I hadn't really thought I was going to be an author. I guess it seems a little funny. Most people try to write something and find a publisher. Here we had the publisher call us first and then ask if you wanted to write it. So it was made it a little bit unique that way.
And what's your profession now?
I'm an investment consultant.
So you're an investment consultant.
Principal Financial Securities.
And Janice, what do you do?
I'm a homemaker.
And you two had no dreams of being best-selling authors.
No, that's right.
That's amazing. So it just shows you got to know the right person at the right time.
That's right.
So how did you do it? How did you compile all the information?
Well, a lot of it was compiled through writing the different chambers in the state. Wrote all the chambers, and probably within the first 3 weeks of writing, and probably 70 to 80% of them responded to the letter we sent. The letter just explained what we were doing and asked them to send us 5 or 6 unique facts or trivia questions about their area that they knew to be factual and correct. And so a lot of the questions came that way. Then, of course, we contacted the universities and the Iowa High School associations and talked to the register and went to the library and just anywhere we could think of.
But didn't you have to do a lot of work to verify the information?
Yes, we did the best we could as far as verification. Now, as Al explained, with the chamber stuff, some of the stuff we just had to assume that what they sent us was accurate, that they would not,
Oh, yeah, sure.
But we did the best we could. And so far we have not, now I'm sure this will change, but so far we've not had any calls on mistakes.
So not one person has found a mistake yet.
Not yet.
That's a challenge for our listeners. Get out there and find a mistake in this book.
I found a couple typos, but other than that...
Well, that's great.
One of the things we did was senior historian Lauren Horton, who's supposed to be the foremost expert on the state of Iowa, we let him read the manuscript ahead of printing to check it for anything that he might think was not correct, and he came up with several minor changes that then we went back, or he questioned them. He would just put a question mark if he wasn't sure, so then we knew which ones to really go after as far as deep research to try and find if there's an inaccuracy.
He also helped us in the fact that even though it's a trivia book, we wanted to try to include all the really important things that have happened also, and so he was a check for us on that too. Is there anything outstanding that we missed?
Now, of course, we assume a lot of the questions will deal with Des Moines people or maybe some of the major metropolitan areas. But is there a surprise in terms of certain hot spots in the state where it seems like there's more trivia than others?
Well, no, I guess when it came right down to it, that was one of the things that I checked on was which counties we'd covered and which areas. And it generally turned out that the more metropolitan areas had the most questions, which we then trimmed down. But no,
for example, it
really,
seems like Winterset has quite a few interesting things that have happened in the past between John Wayne, Bridges in Madison County, that Cold Turkey movie being shot there. Just a lot of interesting things for such a small town.
Yeah, and I would say maybe even moving southeast through Mount Pleasant and Muscatine. Of course, that's the older part of the state, and where there's more people in eastern Iowa than western Iowa. So maybe it has the fact that where most of the people live, most of the questions are going to come from. So eastern Iowa seems to have a bigger selection.
Are there things that you discovered that you just went, wow, I didn't know that?
Oh, quite a few. I guess, some of the things I know that one of the things my brother was most amazed at was the first car. Why don't you tell him about that, Alan?
Yeah, the first car, which happened to be an electric car, was built right here in Des Moines, Iowa by William Morrison. And I'd never heard that before, growing up in the state. And, I mean, you always hear the story of the Wright brothers and the first plane, and you think, well, the first car is about as important as the first plane. And yet there was, we found some little clip saying that the first car was debuted in Iowa, and that was about all we found on it, and the guy's name was Morrison or something, so we had to research to find out. Well, it turns out that the reason he built the car was he had patents on batteries, and the reason he built the car was to debut his batteries, and the car would hold a charge for like 6 hours and go 30 miles an hour, and actually won the first auto race ever in 1893 in Chicago.
Wow.
So that was one thing. I thought that was a pretty important fact. And
that's trivia.
Yeah,
that's good trivia. What was the toughest thing to verify in the book?
The only thing that comes to mind right away is the fact that we had to put one question I know we have two answers to, because both of them, it sounded accurate. And there's two different counties that claim to be the origination of the 4-H symbol. And both of them, in digging back, sound factual. They just happen to kind of coincide. They happened at the same time.
Right now we're going to go to Van and Bonnie, a couple of Iowa trivia experts. They're in Newton at the Radisson. Hi, guys.
Hi, how you doing this morning?
Great.
Beautiful.
You are in this book, Van. Did you know that?
No.
Yes, you are. You're on page 55.
What's it say about it?
I got to find it here. What did you do?
Yeah.
Well, this is before Bonnie was here. So, what local talk show host originated the annual International Leisure Suit Convention? That's great.
That showed up on Jeopardy one day.
Wow.
They said, I think the answer was the city in which the Leisure Suit Convention is held.
That's great.
And this woman on the show said, she hit the button and said, Des Moines.
That's fantastic.
What is Des Moines?
Well, you're in the book. Congratulations.
It's in Trivial Pursuit, too, by the way, I guess.
Right now with us, Alan Beck from West Des Moines, Janice Stock from Titanca, the authors of Iowa Trivia, and they're going to ask you some questions, and we're going to make it kind of tough, 3 in a row, and I think we're going to start with a Newton question. Isn't that right, Alan?
That's correct.
Okay, let's go to Dean in Burlington. Hi, and welcome to the show, Dean.
Hi.
You ready for the questions? Here we go. In order to win the book, you got to get 3 in a row.
Okay.
Go ahead, Alan.
Okay, Dean. What was the original nickname of the Newton High School Cardinals?
I don't know.
That's hard, isn't it? Yeah, no guesses, Dean?
Redbirds.
No, that's not correct.
Good try. Should we give it to somebody else?
That'd be fine.
Okay, thanks, Dean, for calling. That was a good try. John? John from Des Moines, you go ahead. You want to try this question?
I'd like to have my own question instead of
I bet you
taking
would.
somebody else's, please.
Okay, let's go ahead and answer this one. What is the answer to that?
The answer to that is the Little Washers.
Oh, come on.
Nobody'd ever get that.
The little washers.
That's right.
How about the big refrigerator? Okay.
I see why they changed it.
All right, a question for John. Go ahead. You got to get 3 in a row to win the book. Go ahead, Alan.
Well, let's try and find maybe a little easier one. University of Iowa quarterback Chuck Long finished second to whom in the 1985 Heisman Trophy race?
He was from Nebraska.
No.
No. Can I ask you if you have a question in your trivia book?
Sure.
What was where is the capital of Iowa, the first capital city of Iowa?
Iowa City? Is that what you're looking for?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's in there.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, John.
I guess I had to spend the money for the book now.
Okay, well, it's a fun book. Thanks a lot for calling. Thanks. All right, Evelyn from Colfax, I bet you want your own question, but let's give the answer to that last one.
The winner of that 85 Heisman Trophy race was Bo Jackson. Chuck Long finished second to him.
All right. Evelyn from Colfax, you all ready?
Yes.
Janice, you want to try a question for Evelyn?
Okay, Evelyn, we'll do another kind of Newton question. When was the last Ringer washer produced by Maytag?
Better want to give her a 5 year.
Maybe a year.
Within 5 years.
Within 5.
I'm going to say 87.
I think that's
pretty close.
I think we ought to give her that one.
Pretty close.
was
She's
it?
within 5. It's 83.
Good. Okay, well, that's one you got right, Evelyn. Let's go to another one.
How about sticking with the washing machines? Do you know when the first electric motor was added to a Maytag?
Probably 34.
Oh, that's a little late. It was, should I tell her?
Yeah.
1911.
Oh, wow. They had electric motors in 1911 on washing machines? Wow. Well, thanks, Evelyn, for calling.
Okay.
It's a fun book called Iowa Trivia. The authors Alan Beck and Janice Stock are here. And Deanne from Des Moines, go ahead. You were there, aren't you, Deanne?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I should have read the book first.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping somebody isn't sitting there with the book in their hands right now answering
I wish
these.
I had it.
Okay, Alan?
Who was the youngest man ever elected governor of the state?
Terry Branstad.
Correct.
That's right.
Good, you got one. Let's go for the next one.
How many domes are on the state capitol?
5.
Correct.
Ooh,
Good.
we've almost got a winner, Deanne. You just need one more. Let me ask you this one. What television series starred former University of Iowa football star Alex Karras as the godfather to little Emmanuel Lewis?
Yeah.
Cute kid.
Yeah, I remember him.
Alex Karras was...
His wife was in it.
Yeah, his wife was in it too, yeah. Alex Karras was from University of Iowa.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the show.
Starts with a W.
I'm not going to give any more hints.
Oh, no. Wallace, Washington.
It's called Webster.
Webster, that's it.
Thanks, Deanne. Thanks for trying.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to another one. Don, let's try some for Don.
Don, who was the winningest coach in Cyclone basketball history?
Basketball?
Basketball.
The present coach.
Not the present coach. The present coach is Tim Floyd.
Oh, Iowa State?
Iowa State.
Okay, Johnny Orr.
Right.
Okay. Correct.
Okay, got one. Go to the next one.
How about, do you know who the models for Grant Wood's painting American Gothic were?
Yeah, Livingstone City.
Yeah, that's the colony. Do you know who the models for the painting were?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Guess I'm out of it, right?
Or is his parents or what?
Nope. The gal was his sister, and the guy was his dentist.
Oh.
Oh, dear.
Thanks, Don. Thanks
Okay,
for trying.
thank you.
Okay, John from Des Moines, your turn to try some of these Iowa trivia questions. Let me give you one, John.
Fire away.
Okay, after graduating from West Point in 1828, what Civil War figure operated a sawmill on the Yellow River while serving in the U.S. Army at Fort Crawford?
Can we go back to one of the sports questions?
You got to take this one.
Oh, boy.
After graduating from West Point in 1828, what Civil War figure operated? I give you a hint. He's a general, Confederacy, on the Yellow River. I didn't know this. I never knew he was in Iowa.
Jefferson Davis.
You got it.
Oh, my
Is that
God.
amazing?
Yes.
I did not know that.
That's a wild guess.
Okay. Alan, you try yours.
I'll give you an easy one here. What is baseball great Bob Feller's hometown?
Van Meter, Iowa.
Okay.
All right.
Now, one more. You can get a book.
How about how much Iowa land is within the National Forest System?
Talk about an easy one. I don't
we
even
get it
know
with
that
it?
one.
Can we have multiple choice?
Don't make it too hard.
How much Iowa land is say that again?
Is within the National Forest System.
Think small.
Don't make it hard.
0.
Right.
Oh my gosh, he gets a book.
Yay.
Okay,
Yay.
John, you hold on. We're going
right.
to get your name and address, okay?
Thanks.
And thanks for playing the game. We're going to give one more book away here quickly. All right, Dick from Des Moines, you're on the line with us. Let's have Janice give you a question, Dick.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Name the 3 rivers that create the eastern and western boundaries of Iowa.
Mississippi, Missouri, and there's one more.
That's right. It's in the Northwest.
Northwest. Yeah, by North Sioux City. I don't know. I'll guess the Platte.
No, it's the Big Sioux.
Big Sioux.
Thanks for calling, Dick.
Okay.
We're going to take one more call here, and then they've got to go. Karen from Burlington. We're going to give you a tough one, but it's only one question, right? With a bunch of different answers. You ready, Karen?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Karen, can you tell me the one Amana colony that does not have the word Amana in it?
Homestead.
Homestead, that's right. Can you name the other 6?
The other 6.
Get that map out quick.
Oh, dear. Little Amana, Big Amana, West Amana. I can't hear it. East Amana.
You're getting there. Just 2 more.
2 more.
And don't say Amana bread, whatever you do.
I can't get it.
Well, you missed Middle Amana. And did you say Little Amana?
I said middle, yes.
Okay. I guess I'm not sure which one she missed.
I think I got them all right.
So, well, I guess, Karen, you're our last caller, so you're going to get the book. Thanks for calling, okay?
Great,
Put you
thank
on
you.
hold here. You guys are a lot of fun. What does Quaker Oats have to do with Iowa? It is throughout this book.
Well, in Cedar Rapids, is
Yeah.
where their
That's
their
where-
main
That's
plants
the
is at.
headquarter.
But, I mean, there's a lot of Quaker Oats questions. Is that because they started making it here? Is that it?
That's right.
Okay, all right. Schaefer Fountain Pen started here.
That's correct. Southern Iowa.
Fort Madison.
Jacob Schick, the inventor of the electric razor, is from Iowa.
Des Moines.
The first delicious apple was grown in Iowa.
Peru, yeah.
It's a great book called Iowa Trivia. Alan Beck and Janice Stock, both from Johnston originally. Now Alan's in West Des Moines. Janice is in Titanca. Just a great job. This is a lot of fun, and congratulations for the great success.
Thanks,
Thank
Steve.
you. We
Thanks
hope
for being
everyone
with us.
enjoys it.